Hello there, and welcome to 10 Tips and Tricks for a Good Time on Vulcanus. While this planet might be objectively speaking the easiest one of the new space-age planets, it has also been the planet where I felt the dumbest when I was discovering new things that were quite obvious, but I was just not checking them out when I started here. So I really hope that this video helps you out with a couple of things that you hopefully haven't discovered for yourself, or a couple of thoughts that will help you build your base here. So number one that I want to talk about, you can dump things into the magma. So every one of these little puddles here is an instant voiding device. I felt really stupid when I discovered that, because it's a pretty special thing and useful, as your foundries spit out rock that you don't want to have as a side product. Well, off it goes. Can be worked out with all manner of other things. Number two, the conversion of sulfuric acid to power is not really a big deal and pretty easy to understand. We put calcite and sulfuric acid together and generate steam. Lots of steam. 2000 steam per second. But what I did not check out when I started out first is that this steam has a temperature of 500 degrees Celsius. Why is that an important temperature? Many of you already know, but maybe you don't. This powers up the big steam turbines that you need for nuclear energy, whereas these little guys here, they have a max temperature of 165 degree and therefore waste like the majority of the energy potential. Look at this, 900 kilowatt versus 5.8 kilowatt. So that's a decent change, and what can I say? I didn't understand it right when I landed here, but, well, you see, this is one of the things that you really can power play around here. The other thing that I want to mention here at this same point is the sulfuric acid deposits are therefore really important for you, and you should totally expand into a new one before the current one depletes. I mean, this is a very efficient recipe. You get a lot of energy out of that, but you should be ahead of your sulfuric acid consumption. Just rest assured that these deposits, they will, if I am not misinformed, stop depleting once they are down to 10% of their original value. Please correct me if I stand wrong here, but they should behave like oil deposits as far as I know. Number three, Demolishers. You know, we all know those little wormies out there that wriggle and writhe and make you a hard time getting yourself acquainted here. So I want to introduce three easy methods of killing them. So method number one is just a box full of ammo and 50 gun turrets, and you just deploy them in blocks like these. Ideally, you distribute them a little bit to make it as hard as possible for the worm to just crash through all of your turrets at once. Then you fill them up. 30 to 50 were enough at bullet research number 7. Get yourself those bullets in. Try to get as few bullets as possible in there, and then you just lure the thing into the turrets. You will lose a third to 50% of your turrets while doing so, but since Vulcanus works as it works, it doesn't really hurt you. It's just a matter of production time that you need to cover up. That's method one, and it's by far the most brute force one. I have discovered a couple of more elegant solutions so far. One elegant solution is import yourself these uranium cannon shells and whale away on these with a tank or two. I've seen footage of just 10 shells being enough to finish off of a small demolisher. The only downside is you don't get that uranium locally, you just need to import that. But apart from that, seriously, you can kill off these guys with tanks super easy. And the third method that I've seen, the discharge defense. Demolishers are extremely vulnerable against electric damage, and if you have enough of these on your armor with enough power supplied, I've seen these things pop in less than 5 seconds. This is also a method that I've seen working out quite decently. But what can I say? I'm a turret guy. I use this whenever I want to go outside and kill more of these beasties. Whenever the deposit here is full, I go off and kill one. The bigger ones I would strongly recommend to going forward with artillery. This is so far the easiest way that I've seen. Enough about demolishers. Number 4, metals are virtually endless. This is something that you should really take into account when you're working here. You can transform lava into whatever molten metal you want. It has a side product of stone. The input of calcite is ridiculously low. You just, you know, getting your calcite down is pretty difficult because calcite is literally lying around here in the millions. So, yeah, whatever you do, you can go totally wasteful here. That's why it doesn't matter that the Demolishers will eat up your turrets. You just make more. So take that into account, that unlike other planets on Vulcanus, you don't need to worry about the quantities of metal ever. It is in severe abundance. These iron, copper, and steel you can get in stupidly easy ways. I mean, it's pretty obvious, but I want to point it out that you can afford yourself to play way more wasteful around those demolishers or other things that you want to bash your head against the wall with. So, which leads me directly to number 5. The rare resources on the planet are coal, rare-ish. I mean, I say rare because you can burn through quite a lot of this stuff, and real rare metal is tungsten. So when you look it up here, tungsten is really only popping up very, very occasionally here, whereas coal and calcite and sulfuric acid pop up quite often. As you see there, there's plenty of coal fields. They're just a little bit hard to find sometimes, but once they're under radar coverage, they are pretty easy to find. What this boils down to is you really want to work your way always towards the next tungsten deposits and use those big drills that you get there because they get more yield. So number 6, rogue tungsten mining. Before I was able to deal with the demolishers because I went on all the planets on this playthrough with basically nothing in my pockets, I did a neat little trick by providing an ample supply of solar panels, a couple of big mining drills, and letting them pipe their stuff into a steel chest. Whenever a worm would come on by, I would go Control X, cut it out, let my robots pick up the machines, manually picking up the big container where the most material is, and run away. The thing is, the radar panel here told me the coming of the worm in such an early advance that I was perfectly able to haul several hundred pieces of tungsten back to my base before I had to pack up. This was a really nice way of getting myself started with the research before I had a good base, and I feel like it's a pretty nifty system that you can abuse when you want to get things started, but you didn't import the whole cavalry from the other planet. But by all means, the very most appealing first demolisher to kill is always the one that guards the tungsten ore. Now, number 7, you should really rush towards proper coal liquefaction. The basic recipe that you start with, the simple coal liquefaction recipe, is enough to get your science production started and get you off of the planet, but it is not good to build a serious base around it. This complex that you see here was my landing site, and here I have a couple of these archaic basic coal liquefaction thingies. The thing here is following. So you see 16 heavy oil per second on this recipe, and this one gives you for the for less ingredient, or well, this is not representative, for the same ingredient here, you get more of about everything, which is pretty amazing. And steam is not really any problem. The diversity of products here is where it comes in really handy. And I want to add in another little trick. If you don't need any of the side products, petrol or light oil, Vulcanus has a really nice trick avoiding these for you. You know, you can barrel up any liquid out there, and you can send those barrels then into the magma, and tell you what, barrels are virtually endless. So if you really need to void stuff, on Vulcanus, you can set up an assembler, barreling that stuff and ditching it right into the magma without any issues. So it's a pretty nifty little thing. You can't do that with petrol gas, obviously, but you will use that for your plastic production anyway. So this won't overspill ever. But the light oil, if you don't need it for rocket fuel or anything, just barrel it and toss it away. I love this little trick. Number 8. The goodies of Vulcanus. I want to really talk about quickly what you can expect to take from this planet. Obviously, the foundries. The foundries are a big power card of Vulcanus. On the planet itself, they serve you as a wonderful source of raw materials, but once you get off of Vulcanus, they are excellent producers for all manner of different build types. Or also, you can create yourself the machines themselves on Vulcanus. Highly recommend to craft your foundries and big mining drills as well, because of the production bonus. The foundry has, like all the other specialized planetary workshops, an insane productivity bonus, an insane crafting speed, so you can get your roadworks done on other planets quite easily with these. Apart from that, they don't serve as many purposes as other thingies do, but I really love to have a super strong and effective, efficient build production system, because I do use a lot of builds. The other superstar here, obviously, is the big mining drill. I personally think this is basically the biggest takeaway from this planet. The big mining drills, I overlooked the resource drain 50% tack on them. This means you put a big mining drill on a patch and it just happens to extract only 50% and give you 100% yield. As you see, that blue asterisk tells you this gets influenced by quality. So with these big mining drills, when you export higher quality mining drills, you can basically make any resource patch last a lot longer, and I highly recommend utilizing these bad boys as much as you can. Luckily, a 20 of these can fit on a rocket, and yeah, I personally think that these are among the best things that come off of Vulcanus. But the other things that are coming off of this planet aren't less good. Cliff explosives are now locked behind Vulcanus, so you need them on this planet, but you can use them on all other planets too. And yeah, artillery. I personally love artillery. We all do, I hope. And having this unlocked is a big deal. But also, rail support foundations come in super handy on Fulgora, making Vulcanus a really good first planet to visit. But you can't go for the rail support foundations before you were yourself on Fulgora. Don't get yourself excited beforehand. You will need 2000 electromagnetic science packs to get that done. But yeah. Personally think Vulcanus does a good job in giving you many good things. I want, as a last thing on this tip, point out asteroid reprocessing. You might be wondering, what the hell do I want with this one? The answer is quality crafting. This is one of the most powerful quality crafting recipes because it allows you to take one asteroid chunk, put it into a machine that's loaded with quality modules, and then reprocess until you get quality chunks. And then the quality chunks can be processed into quality materials, and this is one of the most powerful kickstarters for the crafting of high quality base materials that I've seen so far. I'll do another video in the future about these things. Just wanted to point out that this little thingy is actually really powerful. And of course, the highest tier builds, they are one thing that you want to export off this planet forevermore, basically. Number 9, so I want to talk about this planet's identity here at this point. Vulcanus is an easy planet. You get calcite, and you get resources without end. You get sulfuric acid on top of that, and you have power without end. You get coal on top of that, and you have everything that you would require, and from that point on, building a base is an easy breeze. The problem with this planet is the terrain is a pain. As you see there, we have planet is loaded with cliffs. I mean, this is all removable once you have cliff explosives, sure thing, but what about this? This is everywhere. The magma that provides you so amply, that provides such ample amounts of metal becomes a real pain when you want to traverse it. You will need foundation tech off of Aquilo to build on magma. This is the only thing that can that I know of that will get magma rid of you. So this is really painful. At the beginning you don't feel it so much, but once you notice that your next tungsten ore patch is somewhere out there in this nasty soup, where you then need to plan a railway somehow through this wasteland. Seriously, it is not as painful, but this is the biggest challenge that I've seen on Vulcanus, because the Demolishers, Well, they are mostly a DPS check. In all honesty, they are the question, did you bring enough damage to conquest this tile or no? And once you have an ample amount of artillery turrets that you can pelt these beasties with, well, expanding becomes quite easy. I mean, the bigger ones last longer, and you might be needing to combine some of the strategies that I've mentioned, but it still isn't that much of a brain teaser. So, moving on over to number 10, I want to talk about one thing that is very special to Vulcanus, and that is quality and foundries have a very, very interesting interaction. So, as you see here, you have all manner of things that you can craft out of molten metals. Molten metals, as all liquids, can have quality. The caveat here is, if we ought to, let's say, craft ourselves a legendary low-density structure, look what happens. The molten copper and the molten iron don't need to be of any quality because they can't be of any quality, and all we would need to input would be a legendary plastic bar. Sure, legendary quality materials are hard to come by, but this means that if we put it into a lower perspective, we could craft super easy, rare low-density structures, which we could then deconstruct again in a recycler into their base materials, which is a very powerful way of getting yourself hands on quality copper, quality steel, and again the quality plastic that you put into again. So you get your resources to a certain value back. The liquid and solid mixed recipes in foundries are currently some of the most interesting ways of cheesing your way around in the game of getting quality metals like that. So you can also easily craft copper cable in higher qualities. So you put a normal quality tag on it because you can't do that. Then you pack this thing with quality modules. Out comes eventually quality copper cable that you can then dismantle into quality copper plates. This is a really, really nifty thing, and foundries help you producing quality base materials with this little caveat that I just wanted to introduce. Now, there's surely more things that we could talk about. Feel free to load the comment section up with things that you did personally discovered about Vulcanus that you didn't expect. I'm all ears to hear because I'm pretty sure I haven't discovered nearly everything here yet myself. So, also, thumbs up and subscriptions are highly welcome. Check out the description box. There's a playlist link down there leading to all manner of different Factorio videos that I did since Space Age. And yeah, feel free to support the channel financially or however you want to. Many thanks to all of you who do, and a lot of thanks to you personally for being around here until the very end. Have a good day, and the factory must grow.